Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles, but we're going to talk about how MrBeast, the Beast games on Amazon, is shaping up to become the next Fyre Festival. Yeah, it is an absolute disaster, according to Amazon insiders. This article coming from Business Insider. We're going to talk about this because they were betting heavy on this one, right? Like, what is it with Amazon burning money on MrBeast and burning money on The Lord of the Rings, The Power of the Rings? I mean, seriously. It's almost like Jeff Bezos is one of the richest men in the world and he doesn't care. I don't know. Maybe it's a write-off. I don't know. We're going to talk about it, but this is a huge, massive PR black eye, not just for MrBeast, but anyone associated with him, including Amazon. So let's look into this and see what's going on. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to wherever you find podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and subscribe to the Clownfish TV podcast. That would be an audio edition of these episodes on YouTube, as well as Derezzed, which is interviews and video game news. That is out there. Please help us grow that. That is our life raft in case YouTube implodes, right? And the reason I'm concerned about YouTube imploding is in part because of MrBeast. Because every time a high-profile YouTuber does something stupid like this, it almost always affects the rest of us. Because then YouTube will put new rules in place, and then advertisers will shy away from the platform, and it's going to make it harder and harder for independent content creators to monetize their content on YouTube. I fully believe there will probably be another adpocalypse because of MrBeast. I mean, look what happened after PewDiePie. I mean, every time there's a high profile controversy, Logan Paul, you know, the list goes on and on. Some of the kids' toy channels, and you know, the accusations of there being a PDF file ring. I guess, is that what we're using now instead of CP? We're using PDF file. Well, we're going to talk about that because that does have a lot to do with what is going on with MrBeast right now. So yeah, concerning. It's concerning. Amazon spent a lot of money, and it looks like they might have flushed a lot of money, but they might recoup some of that money by doing a Fyre Festival type documentary, according to these insiders, about the debacle that is the Beast games. And I think this is, looking at the whole situation, I think this is a case of too much too soon. I think MrBeast and his friends, he started when he was a teenager. They got entirely too much money. And because he got too much money and he got too big, he went unchecked. And there was a lot of crazy shit going on behind the scenes. And nobody was really holding him accountable, in my opinion. I think it was just too much too soon, right? And more and more stuff coming out every day. But we're going to talk about just specifically how this is going to impact Amazon as they bet heavy on MrBeast. $100 million. They paid this guy $100 million for this game show that has turned into a PR disaster. And it could potentially get Beast and maybe Amazon sued because of the reported conditions on set. A lot of people coming out now. His investigators are apparently going after the Nerdy Nummies lady. Did you hear that craziness? She's talking about how she's done several videos about the Beast games, and apparently she has heard through the grapevine that Jimmy is sending his goons after her or something. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. And there will be, mark my words, there will be long-lasting repercussions because of this. You know, but this is, again, coming from Business Insider, how Amazon's massive TV deal with YouTube's top star turned sour. Not just sour, effing disaster. It said Amazon's Beast Game show with YouTuber MrBeast has faced safety concerns and negative press. The show, announced in March, was meant to boost Amazon's video ad sales with a $5 million prize. Again, they paid him $100 million. $100 million to do this show. Amazon insiders say the show was risky from the start, with the streamer ceding control to MrBeast's team. Now, this is key because when the deal was inked, as I understand it, Night Media, which was MrBeast's talent agency, management company, they were involved, right, when the papers were signed. And apparently they're still involved in some capacity, I think. According to some of the people who work with Night, they're posting on LinkedIn, right? They're still involved with that. They're not involved with his other stuff anymore. But he kicked them to the curb in May. And we've talked about this before. It is possible that, because apparently there was some fighting going on between MrBeast and his management company. It's possible they said to him, do not do this, do not do XYZ thing that you're doing, or, hey, we can't keep covering for you, or whatever. I heard it was just a power struggle, like they wanted to rein him in. He didn't want to be reined in. And, this is how much power this guy has, 25, 26 years old. And Amazon is just giving him $100 million and letting him do whatever the hell he wants. And this is what happens, right? I mean, I'm just saying, it's crazy. I can't believe that they actually signed off on that at Amazon. But look at Lord of the Rings, right? It's not like they're really doing their due diligence to make sure that people are being faithful or doing their due diligence and staying true to Tolkien or whatever. So yeah, this says Amazon's upcoming reality show with YouTube's biggest star, MrBeast, was supposed to be a bold bet on the future of TV, but it's begun to turn into a massive headache for the tech giant. In March, they announced a show called Beast Games, and it's going to have a $5 million cash prize believed to be the biggest in TV history. It seemed like a coup for Jennifer Salke, the head of Amazon MGM Studios, who needed a hit, especially as Prime Video was about to make its first big pitch to the TV ad sales community. Now, this is very important. They spent $100 million to get MrBeast. It turns into a PR disaster, and now the word is they cannot sell advertising. The advertisers are staying away from it. This is absolutely positively going to hurt every other influencer ever. And that's not even getting into all the allegations, all the reportedly horrible things that are going on behind the scenes with the Beast company. But just from a business perspective, they bet heavy on this guy, and it's going to blow up in their faces. We're excited to work with Jimmy and his talented team to bring this brilliant, high production and stakes raising concept to Beast Games for our global customers to experience. They said at the time, Beast Games was part of a celebrity-studded slate Amazon presented in May. That's upfronts. And again, May is when he kicked Night Media to the curb. Again, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if I don't know. Was he basically paying them protection money? I don't know. Did they say, hey, you know what, Jimmy? You're going to kick us to the curb. We're going to let stuff leak. I don't know. I have no idea. But everybody's coming out of the woodwork now with their MrBeast horror stories. Two Amazon insiders said the show faced risks from the start, with Amazon agreeing to give Donaldson control over the show's creative, as well as approval over the advertisers as part of its effort to land the deal during a competitive bidding process. They're giving MrBeast control of the advertisers. We really needed a hit, so they just let him do whatever he wanted, one Amazon insider said. The insider spoke with Business Insider on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly about the show. Amazon declined to comment. So, yeah. So let's look at this. It's not just the accusations of PDFs working at Beastco with Jimmy Donaldson's knowledge, right? It's not just a couple of disgruntled employees coming out and saying that the working conditions were piss poor. It's not the accusations of him stealing ideas and stuff, I guess now. I don't know. There's a whole slew of stuff coming out. And I'm going to tell you, before it's all said and done, I think we're going to find out a lot of information on the burger joint debacle. We're going to find out a lot of information on Feastables. I think we're going to find out a lot of information on Creative Juice. Nobody talks about that. That was a finance company that they had set up, that they were giving cash infusions to different YouTubers. And actually, one of the ones that got some cash was Oompaville, and now they're making all kinds of MrBeast videos, so apparently, I don't know if the check bounced or what, but I'm just saying I think there's a whole lot of shit going on behind the scenes. Again, this is what happens when you let somebody this young have that much power and that much money, and him and his friends just kind of doing whatever the hell they want to do. It went exactly the way you think it was going to go. Now then some people were going to be like, no, this is just the system trying. It's like, no, I think there's some bullshit going on. I really do think there's some bullshit going on, for sure. But yeah, they were so desperate. Amazon was so desperate for hits. They gave Jimmy Donaldson $100 million, told him to do whatever the hell he wanted. And apparently that involved, according to the allegations, that involved taking people's medication and underwear and stuffing them into an old mall or a convention center or something for this Beast game. Is basically a Squid Game, a non-lethal Squid Game knockoff. So just like a bigger budget version of his video. Beast Games was supposed to kickstart Amazon's video ad sales efforts with a show that was expected to attract a wide audience and advertiser appeal. Oh boy. Boy, did you back the wrong horse. You backed the wrong horse, Amazon. Despite being a dominant spender on entertainment content, Prime Video has faced questions about its popularity with viewers. According to Nielsen's gauge, the service accounted for 3.1% of streaming TV viewing in June, after YouTube's 9.9% and Netflix's 8.4%. You mean Lord of the Rings is not packing them in? Wow. One top ad-holding company buyer briefed on Amazon's pitch for Beast Games earlier in the spring was impressed while describing it as expensive compared to other prominent TV show sponsorships. So they're charging a lot for it because he's MrBeast. And he's got everybody convinced that his brand is worth so much. His chocolate is worth so much. Amazon pitched it as a sponsorship with the chance to have products integrated into the show for advertisers spending $10 million and up. So the floor is $10 million. Plus he's getting $100 million supposedly for the deal. They're getting smart about packaging, said the buyer, who asked for anonymity. They're starting to act like a TV player. Yeah, because Amazon needs more money, The agency ultimately ended up passing. But yeah, it's a lot of money. But the positive sentiment around the show was thrown into question when the New York Times dropped a bombshell report in early August that centered on safety concerns around the production of Beast Games. The Times reported that over a dozen people who participated in the show's first installment said they didn't get enough food or medical care, and that some competitors were injured as a result of the physical challenges. Donaldson's camp, which is rep by Crisis PR pro Matthew Hiltzik, said only a handful were injured and blamed a lot of execution problems on local staff in Vegas hired to handle shooting for the show. Just a couple people had their arms broken. A couple people menstruated all over each other or something. I don't know what apparently they took women's underwear. They only had one pair of underwear. And again, the story from, I think the guy's name was Weddle, who was in solitary, and I watched that video, and he said that basically Donaldson and company, they get off on psychological torture as long as it looks good on camera. I mean, it's some seriously sick shit. I keep thinking about the Truman Show. Ed Harris's character on the Truman Show, that's what kind of reminds me of. As long as it looks good on camera and the audience is buying it, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit who gets hurt? It doesn't matter. Got to get those sponsorships, right? Whatever the cause, the negative press attention couldn't have helped the show's advertising prospects. The first Amazon insider said the streamer had been close to closing deals, but the chatter within the company was that the controversy is hampering the negotiations. It's going to be a mess. This is a person who is an Amazon insider going to Business Insider, which usually just doesn't run with stuff unless they can vet it, saying that Amazon can't sell ads because of all the crap going on with MrBeast. Second, another Amazon insider said producers were already talking about making a Fyre Fest-like documentary about Beast Games. So if Beast Games winds up being an effing disaster, it sounds like Amazon is going to salvage it by turning it into a Fyre Fest like documentary. There were, I think, 2 documentaries about Fyre Fest. So that's fantastic, because Fyre Fest is one of the most infamous scams out there on the internet. Like it's infamous. Everybody knows Fyre Fest. And if you're equating MrBeast with Fyre Fest, and this is people at Amazon, possibly. I mean, that's crazy, right? That is not good for business. I'm just saying. The controversy raises questions about what happens next for the Beast Games. Typically, a complicated reality show like Beast Games would go through careful legal vetting to identify and manage inherent risks. Something Amazon's own reality show experts who worked on Shark Tank and Survivor would know. But here's where it gets interesting. All you do is go through worst case scenarios and work backwards. Second Amazon insider said, but MrBeast was in charge, not Amazon. I thought it was weird because I'm like, such a high profile reality show. Where are these people coming from? Saying that there are all these risks or whatever. Cause I'm like, even a show like Naked and Afraid or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've got people there to make sure people don't get hurt, right? Risk assessment. I mean, they're making like, they're going to try to get the best TV they can get, but they're going to make sure people don't get hurt too, or at least not hurt enough to sue them. And there's going to be all kinds of checks and balances. And I'm like, this is Amazon. They know better than this, right? They know, no, it's Jimmy Donaldson, a 25-year-old, 26-year-old kid with hundreds of millions of dollars, treating this Amazon show like one of his YouTube videos, except on a much, much bigger scale. And apparently people are getting hurt. Now they're claiming they're getting hurt, but I mean, this wouldn't have happened, I do not believe, if they actually had gone through Amazon and had safety people go through and legal go through and all that. But no, you just handed the reins to Donaldson. He kicked his management team to the curb, and he's just going to wing it. He's just going to do it himself because he's in charge. He's MrBeast. He knows best. Beast knows best. With the show and production, a lot of money on the line. Puck, that would be Matthew Bellany, reported that Amazon paid nearly $100 million for the show. It's hard to imagine Beast Games getting canceled. But Mike Hopkins, SVP of Prime Video, is all over the situation. 2 Amazon insiders said. One added there have been discussions of pushing the as yet unannounced launch date to distance it from the PR fiasco. They might push it back just to hopefully get people to forget about it. But at the rate the allegations keep piling up, if they push it back, it might actually get worse. I'm just saying, like, at the rate all this stuff keeps coming out, now that the floodgates have been open, if they push it back, it might actually get worse. The insiders said they're worried the situation could give Amazon higher-ups an excuse to cut Amazon MGM Studios' budget for unscripted shows. So they're worried MrBeast is going to cost everybody their jobs or entertainment spending altogether, especially as live sports are becoming more costly. Amazon is one of the biggest spenders on content. As others cut back, it's increased spending to $1.7 billion, from $1.7 billion to $13.6 billion. They said Amazon has made a largely positive impression on advertisers, except for MrBeast and probably Lord of the Rings, and selling ads on Prime Video thanks to its big ad support audience of sports fans. Prices that are competitive with other streamers, except again MrBeast, which costs a lot more money, and he wants to vet the advertisers. Amazon also has a broad portfolio, including Twitch and Wondery. Twitch, that's a lost cause, but okay, whatever. They seem like Teflon, a third Amazon insider said, referring to the company's ability to survive controversies and the likelihood it could just shrug off the MrBeast drama. I don't think they're going to shrug it off. They might just dump it and then dump him, unless it becomes the big. Well, here's the thing: the controversy. I mean, honestly, it might actually be good for ratings. As sick as it is, it might be good for ratings. It might be like, man, I gotta watch a show because everybody's talking about how god awful and what a disaster this show was. I gotta watch this show. Who knows? But there it is, guys. They are comparing MrBeast's Beast Games to Fyre Festival. That is not a good comparison. It's not very brand friendly. So we'll see what happens. We're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We will talk later.